It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 15th day of August 2020, coming to you from a very soggy Central Virginia. A lot of rain, boy, in the last 36 hours or so. I had to get up during the night last night and let about 4 inches of water out of the pool to keep it from overflowing. Amanda went out and checked it this morning before she left and to check the traps and so forth, since I was in here working, getting ready for the show. And she said I had about an inch leeway before I have to let water out again. So, and it's still raining. It's not raining hard like it was all day yesterday and last night, but it's still raining. So a very wet period of time here in Forest, Virginia. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Cover the latest in cruise and travel news. Before I get to that this morning, I do have a couple news items. Nothing just terribly pressing, so I'm going to get this out of the way first. I teased a couple of announcements. So, of course, tomorrow we have a lady from Alaska, Lady Mora with Traveling with Lady. She was at first a vlogger on cruise vlogging. And then when the coronavirus caused cancellation of a ton of cruises that she had scheduled for this year, she became a Alaska adventuralist. Here she is kayaking. Emily will like that. Kayaking out against one of the glaciers. And she's done all kinds of neat stuff. We're going to be talking to her tomorrow on the London show on the Cruise Amigos at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. That's 8 o'clock London time. Now, next Sunday, that's a week from tomorrow, we're going to be over on the Dalmatia coast, and our guest will be Daniel Hopfield, who's the marketing director of Katarina Cruise Line. He will be on board their newest ship, broadcast from Primistan, Croatia, on an island of the Dalmatia coast in the Adriatic Sea. So that takes care of that one. Now, tomorrow, this is a little iffy because of, I'll tell you why in a minute, but our friend Sue Bryant has been on the Galileo down in the Greek islands, which is a 3-masted schooner. And of course, it's as her trips are there, it's a working trip. And she's going to be posting an article and a video back to the London Times about the Galileo. And she's going to be doing a Chillie chat on the Galileo with some information on the Greek islands. And then on Monday, I think it's Monday, I've lost track of which days are which now, Sue's going to be going to the Rhine River and getting on on a river cruise on the Rhine on the Viva. And she's going to be sharing with us another Chillie chat on the Viva River Cruise on the Rhine. Now, also on Tuesday, from the Garonne River, our friend Janine is going to be chatting with us about her cruise on the Garonne. So on that happens to be, that ship is the Sereno de Bergerac. So that will be going on the air Tuesday. So we got all kinds of several neat things happening all over the place. So we're going to be bringing you stuff literally from all over the world on this channel in the next few days, which is really, I think, really outstanding. Now, meantime, Rona and Alison, two of our Scottish ladies from Glasgow, are currently, as we speak, at Greyfriars Bobby's Bar in Edinburgh, where you go to discover a traditional pub of unique character, revered for its eclectic range of real ales and the quality of its pub food. Now, I hate to tell you this, but there got to be a story in that one. So we're going to be talking to Rona and Alison sometime in the next few days about what's happening in Edinburgh, especially in that pub. So I'm just saying, that's all coming up right here on Chillie's Cruises channel on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else I can find to post that stuff. Now, recently, folks, and I'm not going to rant about anything else today, but I'm sort of halfway going to rant about this. There have been all kinds of rumors and even stories on some of the folks that are in this space, the travel and cruise industry space, about Royal Caribbean getting rid of the Empress of the Seas and some of the other ships of that class. I've even heard one story where, oh yeah, we just heard that Empress of the Sea has been sold. Another story said Empress of the Sea is going to be torn apart, just like Carnival did with the Fantasy. That's going to be, completely dismantled. Now, the truth of the matter, folks, Royal Caribbean just released a series of Caribbean cruises from San Juan, Puerto Rico on the Empress of the Seas starting November of 2021. The current schedule is posted through April 16th of 2022. That should dispel the rumors about the Empress of the Sea, at least for the time being. Now, that doesn't say that they could, the Royal Caribbean might sell the thing tomorrow, but they're not going to post a new schedule for the ship if they've got it sold. So you people out there that are just using rumor and innuendo and making it sound like it's fact, get your facts straight before you report on them, people. So Empress of the Sea's going to move, it's been up the one in Miami and Bayonne, and then it's going to go to San Juan. So, all right, the main story today is weather related. This is the first time, I've been following weather for it seems like forever. This is the first time I've ever seen a day where we got 6 storms or potential storms to talk about. That is unusual. Very unusual. All right. You got Josephine. That's the one to the south there. Josephine has sustained winds of 45 miles an hour, pressure 1,008 millibars. She should pass far enough to the northeast of the Leeward Islands today and tonight to prevent major impacts. And then she's just going to kind of hook around out to sea, sort of head toward Bermuda, which could potentially be in its direction. However, due to the wind shear that's out there currently, it's probably going to weaken by the time it gets to Bermuda. If it gets there, it's going to be more rain than anything. Now, Tropical Storm Kyle just formed literally yesterday off the East Coast. It formed on Friday while Josephine was losing speed, and it continued on its westward journey as forecasters expect it to be turning north the upper Atlantic over the weekend. So the National Hurricane Center said that Kyle was located about 200 miles southeast of Atlantic City, 40 miles per hour winds moving east-northeast away from the coast at 16 miles an hour. Tropical force storm winds could extend out about 105 miles. Some strengthening on Kyle is possible. Now I'm checking now to see the latest update, which is at 11 o'clock. Kyle is 50 mile an hour winds, 1,000 even on the millibars. It's moving at 21 miles an hour to the east-northeast. So it's hauling butt. So that's probably going to go like this shows, just right on out to sea. Again, this is probably going to go north of Bermuda. So you got the two storms out there heading in the same general directions, but they're not going to be at the same time. So then we got to look at the Pacific. Now there's 4 storms on in the Pacific. Now again, let me update the screen here to the latest information. The one that's immediately off the coast of, I guess that's kind of near Panama, sort of. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a trough of low pressure located 700 miles southeast of the Gulf of Tolucapec are beginning to show signs of organization. They're saying that in the next 48 hours, you got an 80% chance of strengthening and further formation, which means to a tropical storm. Over the next 5 days, it goes up to 90%. So there's that one. Then there's the one that's to the I guess the second one. If you're going from east to west, the second one is an area of low pressure located a few hundred miles west of the southern tip of Baja. Is producing a small area of showers. The system has moved over colder waters and further development is unlikely. So it is on its way to being downgraded. So probably in the next couple hours, the next upgrade of information, that one's going to be gone. Now, if you move down to the third one, going from east to west, that's concentrated shower and thunderstorm activity associated with an area of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the southern tip of Baja. This system slowly became better organized since yesterday, and environmental conditions appear favorable for further development today and tomorrow. The tropical depression is likely to form while the system moves slowly north-northwest or northward during the next couple of days, and that's showing 80%. Then if you go to the far one out there, that's 10E, as of the last update just a few minutes ago, it has sustained winds of 35 miles an hour. Central pressure is 1,004 millibars. It's only moving at 2 miles an hour, so that sucker is pretty much stopped still. It's going to like hang out and just kind of run around in circles until it dissipates. It's not expected to get to Hawaii yet unless it picks up some strength, and they're not giving it a percentage on picking up. It's just kind of going to sit there and spin. It's going to affect fish and maybe a boat that's in the area. So 6 storms or potential storms to talk about. I've never had a day with 6 storms. So that's new for me. All right. Time for a commercial. I'll be back in a second.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
Okay. My buddy Ben Sousa over at Cruise Fever put out an article. Carnival has announced agreements with maritime reclamation and recycling specialists to dismantle and recycle two of the cruise ships that have been removed from service in their fleet. Carnival Corporation worked with the environmental nonprofit Bologna Foundation, a lead partner in the NGO shipbreaking platform, and the specialized ship recycling experts Sea to Cradle to formulate an approach to dismantling and recycling the ships, Carnival Fantasy and Carnival Inspiration. Now, basically, what they're going to do, folks, is where they can. Now, this is not entirely feasible on all parts, but they're going to reclaim as much of the parts and metal and all that stuff that they can, clean it up, repair it if it's not need be, and use it as parts on all their other ships in the fleet. So as opposed to just totally scrapping, 80 bazillion tons of steel and crap, they're going to use as much. They've got two companies now working to use the stuff. So, and I'm sure there's some kind of, financial compensation. I don't think this is done totally by charity, by Carnival, but it makes sense to, some of it, of course, still is going to go into the smelter and get smelted down to whatever you do with the steel and stuff and reuse it and make new ships or cars or whatever. But anyway, I think it's interesting that that's at least some of the parts. They don't give a percentage of how much, or they don't give any much details on it. But that's part of the reason that this information, that these two ships went to Turkey, because that seems to be where these folks are working, and they've developing ways of using parts of these old ships rather than just completely scrapping them. So found that interesting. Okay. Cayman Islands, probably those of you that watch Bruce have already heard this, since Bruce once lived on the Cayman Islands. Basically, they've shut out cruise ships now for the year. Not going to allow cruise ships back in the Cayman Islands until at least 2021. Not surprising. And that may or may not be the end of it. Who knows? That is still to be seen. Like I've said before, until we get a handle on things in this country, I don't see a whole lot changing. It's possible. I'm hoping the European side of things gets a little better, although there's issues now all over Europe. Even today, or I guess it was yesterday, the UK put out travel restrictions against France. As a matter of fact, our friend Janine got back from France like a couple hours before she would have had to quarantine. So, there are issues in Europe now. So when the MSC sails on the 16th, I hope, man, that it goes well. I'm worried about it. I'll tell you that right up front. I'm worried about all these ships having problems like the Rudy Gruten had up in Norway. And I don't think the industry can take another major jolt a round of problems. But that's my take on it. Costa, by the way, Costa is going to be sailing in September. That's some cruises that have been approved, but it's going to be for Italian passengers only. So, and they're going to be sailing, around Italy, but they're going to be sailing. So, hats off to them and good luck to them. Just like with the NBC, MSC. I hope it works out for our sake over here. And obviously for the sake of the folks in Europe. So, our audience on this channel is becoming more cosmopolitan. We're getting a whole lot more folks watching us from the European side of things. And that's at least a good bit of that is because of my relationship with Pete and the Cruise Amigos. There's no doubt about that. That's opened up a whole different audience to me. I hope that I'm bringing them a little bit of things to their side. So it's working out very well. But we clearly on this channel have a lot more following now. I get a lot more comments, a lot more information from our folks in Europe. And even things like Sue and Janine are doing, the chats on this channel. So, yes, we're expanding their purview and coverage as well as obviously they're helping me expand here. So, it goes both ways. But anyway, I find it very interesting that we're getting a whole lot more following and information coming out of Europe. So that's why you're hearing more and more stories on this program about things going on in Europe as well. That's because a good bit of our audience is in Europe. So just passing that on. All right, time to go over and check and see who's doing what in chat. Let's see, going back all the way to the start. Tom says good Henry. Tom Henry says good morning. John up there in Minnesota. John says halfway through August. When will NCL cancel in November? It's probably getting about time. If they wait later than anybody else. I don't understand why they do that. I personally think they already know. So just do it. But that's me. Tom says he expects to hear notification on Wednesday, August 26th. Anyone want to bet? Yeah. If you're a bet man, what's the over and under on Norwegian announcement coming on August 26th? I don't know where Tom pulled that one out of. I won't say where I think he pulled it out, but he could be absolutely right. So no idea on when Norwegian's going to do that, but have a feeling it's coming sooner rather than later. Tom Henry says, "Go, Kyle." Yeah, boy, isn't that something? Man, I popped up in just no time, and went straight to Tropical Storm. I mean, it wasn't any of this staging it up. It just went wham. It was there. Amy's here. Good morning, Amy. You're on time again. Boy, you're on a roll. Amy's on a roll, folks. I thought I was Central Virginia and Chillie is nowhere close. They call us Central Virginia here too, Tom. You're more Eastern Virginia. Well, no, that's not true either. I don't know. We're 150 miles apart? I don't know. We had a lot of rain, and I know you're getting a lot of rain too. Now it's what was here has moved over your way. So, but yeah, folks, they actually, there's a law in this state that allows both Tom and I to reside in the state at the same time. That's amazing. Gretchen's with us. Good morning. And Gretchen says good morning to everybody. Let's see. Amy, Jason's here. Jason is lurking in the backgrounds. He's up there in Pittsburgh. He's looking for Carnival Cruises to do something. Sonny's with us. Hey, Sonny, how you doing down there? She says hello to everyone. Yeah, Tom is referring to Jason's, his Royal Highness Jason. He's shaking in his boots. That's referring to traveling with Bruce's. I tell you what, folks, even if you don't follow Bruce, and you need to go over there and watch that video he did a couple days ago. I'm still giggling over that one. That was great. He poked fun at both Tom and Jason, by the way. So it was funny. It really was. Bruce did a good job on that. I give him credit. I'll fuss at Bruce sometimes, but I give him credit. That one was funny. Nikki says, good morning, everyone. I was making okra pancakes for lunch and almost forgot about the show. Okra pancakes? You're talking about that little vegetable thing that grows up in funky little okra. Okra pancakes? Do you put syrup on them? I never heard of okra pancakes. Wow, that's a new one to me. I love okra. I fry it. I never put it in pancakes before. Well, I get pancakes fried. I mean, interesting. Gretchen says, don't burn those pancakes. Emily's with us. Good morning, Emily. See, I talked about you and that crazy lady I'm going to talk to tomorrow that's up there kayaking out at a glacier. And there's probably whales. And she's in a kayak. And I promise you, I wouldn't be there. Despite what Rhoda said, Rona said, what did I say, Rhoda? What Rona said, she and I, neither one are going to be in a kayak anytime soon, especially not out there in a glacier. That water be cold when you flip that damn boat over. Emily says, hello, gang. Cindy's here. Hey, Cindy, how you doing? Good morning, all. Cindy says. Pete's with us. Hi, everyone. You can join us tonight at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's 9 p.m. UK time for the Zoom cocktail party. Should be lots of fun. Links on Chillie's pages and Cruises for Solo. Cheers, Pete. Yeah, that's our cocktail party that we were doing on Wednesday that Emily got us to. Actually, Emily's the one that got us to start. That was the reason we started that. And we've moved it now to Saturday. It's going to be this afternoon, 4 o'clock my time. I'm hoping that our Scottish ladies get back from Edinburgh in time to join us so I can start giving them hell about being in the bar all day in Edinburgh and sampling adult beverages. And I will give them hell. I promise you. Rona and Allison. Yes, indeed. Emily says I'm allowed to rant on. I say I was trying to be nice. See, the problem was that Charmin came in this morning. Charmin the cat. Charmin the cat came in and jumped up on the desk and kind of purred in my ear and says, "Don't be yelling today, because Cottonelle gets scared." So Charmin taken up for his little brother. So I kind of promised the cat that I wouldn't rant too much today. Believe that I got some land in Florida I'd love to say. Okay, so everybody says good morning to everybody. Let's see. Royal is snobs. Talking about, yeah, I tell you what, I get so aggravated at some of these people that start reporting this stuff like it's the gospel, and there's just no proof to it. And I mean, hell, they could sell the damn thing tomorrow. But I don't see them doing that when they're putting a new schedule out. Tom says, I got upgrade bid offer email from the 29th cruise. It will be canceled. Yeah, I'm expecting it to as well. Let's see what else we got down here. Everybody, yeah, you guys chat back. You guys talk more than I do. And that's saying something. Tom says, not sure I goofed in my planning cruise. Excuse me, December 12th in Miami. He's set to fly home the 13th. Then fly to Orlando the 16th. Resort stays in Orange Lake and Port Canaveral. Oh, so we're talking about a schedule down there. So, Sonny says cocktail party. Got it. Yeah, and I got some booze because I ran out last week. Won't run out today. Sonny says I want to do New England, Canada in fall if things open up. Those are lovely, lovely cruises. Yeah, Peggy. Emily says Peggy's Cove. Peggy's Cove was a neat little place. Even though the weather, yeah, you could get into some funky weather up there at times. But then I've also been there. The last time I did a Canada cruise. I call them Canada cruises on the East Coast, and I call them Alaska cruises on the West Coast. Don't ask me why I do that. But anyway, the last time I did a Canada cruise was actually in the summer. It was in July, maybe. So it was pretty warm. But I love that. St. John's, Halifax, Charlottetown. I mean, if you can do it go all the way into Montreal. It's one of the things that I've got on my list of things to do on my website. I don't actually show Montreal as a port, and technically Montreal is a port just as much as Boston is a port. So I need to, I need to add Montreal on the website, but that's going to take some time, and I just, I don't know. It seems like, I'm retired and don't have time to do everything I'm supposed to do anyway. But anyway, that's on my list to get done. Jason says, Bruce was begging for people to join the stock market channel last night. I asked Bruce at one time if he'd like to do an interview, do a Chillie chat about the stock market thing. And, if it's good enough, I'd step Bruce up to the Cruises for Solos, which is obviously a bigger audience than my channel. So maybe I'll ask him again about that. I would enjoy doing it, but mainly because I know at one time he had something to do with the investments in stock market way back in another life. And he's probably more knowledgeable than I am. I mean, I have some investments. Yes. I give it over to my financial advisor, if you want to call him that, my stockbroker. I mean, he's got the money. They do, what they want. I check every day to see what my accounts have done. I don't trade stocks and buy and sell and stuff the way some of you do. I just let it roll and make money. So that's the way I do it. But anyway, but I have some interest. So I would like to maybe understand a little bit more how you guys have made money on Carnival and Royal Caribbean stock in the last 4 months is beyond me. And I know a couple of you, I won't mention any names, Tom or Jason. I know a couple of you have made some terrific money on stocks, and I don't understand it. That's beyond my intelligence. But so I would, maybe I'll try to get Bruce to come over and do a chat again, since he's pushing to get people on his channel. Maybe that would be good. Emily says, Chillie, Tom is shaky. Watch out for him. Yeah, we know Tom is shaky. Tom has always been shaky. Always. maybe Bruce just figured it out. I tell you what, you guys have to watch that. That's the funniest video I've seen forever. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Not only enjoyed it because he pokes fun of a couple of my friends, but he just did a really good job on that. It was hysterical. Okay, Pete says MSC restarts. I expect lots of. Yeah, that's not the best thing in the world. There's going to be a lot of news about that. Let's see. Bad news. Yeah, well, I'm just afraid that they're not going to be ready for this in a big scale. Although I will tell you, because since I have not been able to formally release the information that I've gotten from a couple of our writer friends who have been on river cruises and small ship cruises in this past week and this week coming up. The protocols are in place. They're being followed religiously, and they so far have had no problems. So it can be done, and it can be done properly. Now we got to make sure the bigger guys, the MSCs of the world, do things right, like some of the small guys have been able to do. So let's see. And I realize that we're taking it a step at a time, but let's hope that they, in fact, do things right. So, and yeah, we're going to be all watching it closely. I'm still trying to find somebody on that's going to be on MSC. I would like to get us a source on the boat. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be over there, but I'm still trying to find somebody that's friendly with me that maybe I can get some information after they sail on how things are going. So anyway, we'll see how MSC does, and then Costa right behind them. So anyway, that's hopeful but worried, I guess would be the way to put it. Tom says he has a bad feeling about schools opening. Boy, me too. We go back with the administration. And again, I'm not going to do a rant, folks, so don't worry. And politically, I'm not going to make any statements on that either. When the administration way back when, with their committee, when I got to the point of starting the protocols for reopening, when we were all shut down 100%, they had the guidelines on what each state had to do to reopen. And one of the things was you had to go so many days with some of the numbers going down before you could open anything. That made sense. Several of the governors, and again, I'm not going to make a political statement because we know one of those that followed that to the T, and that was New York, who was in the worst shape of anybody back at that time. And yet Cuomo followed that to the T, and they have been more successful than anybody else. Now, admittedly, there were other problems beforehand that were the wrong decisions to make. Some of the stuff on the nursing homes and stuff were bad decisions. But I also keep in mind these guys have been learning all along. But when the protocols were first put out on how to reopen in this country, the next day, several of the states started jumping at it without following the protocols. Two of those states that jumped first was Florida and Georgia. Now, Georgia actually did a better job than Florida, but still Georgia's they've caught up with problems, not as much as Florida. Florida's still awful. But bringing us right up to date, now we've got protocols on what people have to do before they can reopen schools. And the same people that have caused the problems because they didn't follow the protocols on reopening the states are reopening the schools and not following the protocols that are being laid out for them on how to do it. So, yeah, I think it's going to cause problems. And I think, back to the same thing, until we get to the point of a vaccine, I think we're going to be in trouble. And I'm not sure that a vaccine, even though I hope to have something before this year's out, then is that going to be something you take once or something you have to take numerous times? Or they don't know yet. They've still got too much to learn. We still, the whole thing with the kids in schools. I mean, it looks like now, yes, the kids don't get as sick as somebody my age, but they still get sick and they still transmit it to other people. And kids were going to go home from school and transmit it to their families, which is going to cause problems. Sorry about the coughing, folks. Anyway, that's my take. What's the answer? I don't know. They need to just go back pulling their horns, I think, and slow things down and try to get a handle on things and try to get, I talked 2 shows in a row about this testing with the breathalyzer test. I mean, that's not out yet. That's not definite that that's going to work. But wow, let's start pushing some people on checking that out further. Anyway. All right. Let's see. Anything else major here? Talking about the cocktail party later on today. Oh, Sensational is here. Kids need school this home. Homeschool is not working. I feel for you guys. I really do. And I understand the importance of the kids being in school. But where is that balance between the kids need to be in school so parents can work? I mean, it's all tied together. The kids are better off in school so the parents can work. Yes. But then where do we balance that against the health angle of additional spread of the virus? I don't know. It takes people that are a lot smarter than I am to deal with that. But, and Sensational, I don't mean to be insulting about kids. I mean, I firmly believe the kids need to go to school, but I think it's got to be safe or we're going to get bitten in the butt again. And we're getting bitten in the butt time and time again anymore, it seems. I'd just like to see, I'd like to see us get a handle on it, get the numbers going in the right direction before we do things that are going to send the numbers in the wrong direction again. And then you get, they're talking about community spread. That one of the ways of eliminating the virus overall is that everybody gets it. Well, I mean, major numbers, 60, 70, 80% of the population gets the coronavirus or has it. And then nobody can get it again because everybody's had it. But how many deaths is it going to take to have that happen? I'm fighting to try to stay healthy at my age. I don't know. So, boy, you guys with kids at home, well, I'm glad I'm not in that situation. My son has 2 kids. My son is in that situation. He's trying to balance in his own mind, do I send my kids back to school where they need to be and take a chance on them bringing me the disease? Or do I keep them at home? Yeah, that's a tough question, guys. That's a tough question, and that's part of the tough times we're in. So I hadn't planned on going off on that kind of thing this morning. But anyway, I feel for you guys that have kids now, and I wish there was some way of making it all better. I just don't see it yet. My personal belief is we have to listen to the health experts as opposed to the politicians. I don't believe that the health experts are playing politics. I think they're actually looking at what we can do with the disease. It's the politicians that are playing politics. And that's not one side or the other. That's both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats. And when the House and the Senate went home for a month's vacation, as far as I'm concerned, stay at home. Don't come back. Let's give us all new people in Washington. Okay. I promised I wasn't going to rant this morning. Sorry, cats. I'll keep my mouth shut before I get people mad at me. All right. That's it for this morning, guys. You guys have a great weekend. Had not planned on getting negative on what's going on in the world today. Sorry about that. I hope things are going to go better for all of us soon. I hope we can all get to the point where we can go back to traveling and cruising safely and comfortably. So you guys have a great weekend. I will stay on top of the news items and come back with updates should they be necessary. If not, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Stay healthy as possible. Wear your masks. Socially distance. Do all those things that the health department people tell us we need to do to stay safe. You guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. This is Chillie, the fat travel guy. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.